Hi everybody, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create an enemy character that is actually going to be shooting at the player character. Now first I'm going to go to asset store. Actually I already went there and got the assets that I need for this tutorial, for this video, but I'm going to show you how you can find. Go to attack, go type in here attack boat, and the first one here, just download this and then import this, and then the second one is free sci-fi textures, and it's right, this one, the first one here, free sci-fi textures by Luca Eberhardt. By the way, good job Luca, it's a good texture pack if you're watching this, and import that one as well. Now go back to, after that, close this and go back to your tutorial. You'll see that my walls and my door is different. It's because I use the texture pack. So you can actually go under the art skills store, free sci-fi textures, and you can drag and drop the textures you would like to use. For example, this one here you can use to change, so this can be my door or some other one that can be the door for me, etc. Or you can do the same with the walls. You can choose a different wall texture from any of them and just drag and drop on top of them. Okay. Now the second thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to get rid of this capsule object here. So if you remember, this was my enemy waypoint system, but we're not going to be using a capsule. We're going to be using a robot model. So just go here, select this, and click remove component, remove the mesh renderer, remove the mesh filter as well. Now we're gonna go and find the attack boat model and choose this. Now by default this thing comes with scale factor 1, but that way it's too small. You can't even see it in the scene, so make it 30 and then apply it, and then choose rig. Inside the rig just choose animation type to none and apply that as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to drag and drop this attack boat inside the enemy object. As you can see, it's here now, but with a simple problem. The attack boat is actually facing this way, so the model is facing the wrong way. It needs to be facing the blue arrow because that's the front, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to actually create a bottom empty game object. So right click, empty game object, bottom, and another right click, create top, right? So choose the bot body, which is the upper part of the bot, and drag and drop it under the top. It's going to ask you break prefab instance, click continue. Now your bot body needs to be facing the blue arrow, so choose the bot body and make sure it's rotated minus 90 degrees. So when you actually click on top, it's facing the right direction. And then we're going to do the same thing with the bottom. So choose its axle, left wheel and right wheel, and drag and drop them under the bottom. Now the bottom is facing this way, right? But these things are not really facing that way, so we're gonna have to rotate them to face that way. Oops. So rotate, click on this rotation option and make sure they're rotated that way. So, and then make sure they're all, so the axle is minus 90 degrees, left wheel is 90, 0, minus 90. What if I do 0, 0? Okay, 0, minus 90, and right wheel is 0 and 90 degrees. Right, so its wheels are facing the right direction now. And attack boat, this you can just remove this. Now enemy has two parts, bottom and top, and it has a collider. By the way, his collider is not really matching, so make sure this enemy object is actually within its collider. So the collider bottom should be on the same level as the bottoms of the wheels. Now I'm gonna make this collider a little bit bigger though. It's gonna be a little bit. It's gonna be 2.5 height. Okay, and then so just click on this Z here and click on the cube so it's a isometric view instead of perspective, so you can see things a little bit more precisely. And make sure this bottom and top is touching the floor, right? A little bit to the left maybe. And the top needs to sit right on the wheels. Okay, and now we choose. Okay, that's better. And I'm gonna make the radius maybe 1, so it's easier to shoot this robot because it's a big robot. Great. Now go to the enemy, and now let's see how this runs. By the way, we haven't saved our scene yet, so go ahead and save scene and name this level 1. Save it so you can see it actually here. Let's play it. So this, go to scene view. So you can see the robot is moving, but he's not looking towards the direction it's moving at. So let's fix that. Remember, we already wrote some rotation code, which was here in the for the camera. I'm gonna copy this. Go to enemy AI script. Inside the waypoint, follow waypoints. Go to line 37. Paste this code. Now we're gonna modify this rotation code to the robot, but I only want the wheels to look at where he's moving towards, because his body is gonna be acting independently from his wheels. The body will actually rotate and shoot player. So we're gonna need a transform that actually represents the bottom of the robot, right? So the bottom, copy, and so the direction is not gonna, it's gonna cause a problem because already there's a direction. So I'm gonna call this bottom direction, and then instead of player.position minus transform.position, we're gonna replace this with the bottom.position and the target waypoint with the player. Now in the second line, this direction will be replaced with the bottom direction. So that's the bottom of the bot. We're gonna change its rotation, and this transform will be changed also with bottom, not with bottom direction, but bottom. And inside it's going to be bottom.rotation, and that should be it. Let's see how this works now. Make sure you choose the robot and drag and drop its bottom to the bottom slot here. As you can see, the wheels are looking towards the place it's going, right? So that's what we would like to see. Now for the upper body, create a enemy target control script, and click on top and drag and drop this to there. Now here we're going to be using raycasts. Raycast is a physics method in Unity. It actually casts a ray from a position, and then when the ray hits an object, you can actually retrieve some information from that object, or you can call methods on that object. To do that, we're gonna do it inside the update. But let's add a transform. So this transform will be the source of the ray. We're gonna call this sensor. Okay, sensor. Now we're gonna need a raycast hit object, hit variable, and then we're going to call physics raycast. If physics.raycast, the ray will be cast from the sensor. Sensor.position. And then it's going to go sensor, it's going to be casted towards the player. So we're going to have public transform player. So player dot position minus sensor dot position, and it's going to be going, let's say the range is 100. Well, we can actually first we have to do the hit out hit, and then 100 is the range. Now if the ray actually hits something, then it's going to go inside the if. Then if hit.collider.tag equals player, means the object that he's hitting is actually player, then we're going to say public bool player in sight. This flag will be true, right? So player in sight will be true. If that's not the case, player inside will be false, and if it's not hitting anything, that's also will make the player inside false. Okay, why am I getting an error message there? Player else. Okay, well, let's Command B or Control B, unexpected symbol else. Anyway, we'll figure that out. I'm going to figure that out in a second. If here, unexpected symbol, do we have too many of these or what? Oh, because I did not close the parentheses. Rookie mistake. Okay. Now, if players in sight is true, then we're gonna have the top of the robot, which is actually this is in this script, is gonna start looking at the player, right? So enemy AI, copy this, come back here, player inside, paste this. No, not bottom direction. I'm just gonna name it direction so we don't get confused. And instead of target, we're gonna have player because we're looking at player. We're looking at from here, and then the transform dot rotation. Remember, this script is attached to the actual top part of the robot. Public float rotate speed. Okay. If the player is inside, robot is going to start looking at the player. So that's the goal. And then in the next video, we're going to be shooting at the player. So choose the top part of the robot, and we're gonna let's drag and drop the player inside the player slot, and then right click the enemy, create an empty object. So this is going to be our sensor, right? It's called a sensor, and this sensor will be a little bit up, all right? And I'm gonna name this. Give it a color, so I know where it's at. Okay, and let's see how this works. The top is here. It's one thing though. Enemy, I'm gonna make him rotate slower, and he's gonna move slower. And also I'm gonna just scatter his waypoints a little bit. One is gonna go here, two is gonna go there, three is gonna go here, and 4 is going to go back to here. So let's see how it works. Right now he's slowly moving and he's just fine. Oh, we didn't assign the sensor. It's getting an error. Choose enemy top and drag and drop the sensor in the sensor slot. Now work it. Now let's click on the scene. He's moving around nicely and is totally fine. Now let's move in and see if he's going to actually look at us. Okay, he's not looking at us. There is a little bit of a problem. Now, how do we fix this? We can fix this by actually we're going to be debugging. So how to debug? We're going to say players inside is true. Debug. So when it casts array, let's see, debug.log hit.name. So we're gonna see hit that game object, or actually hit.collider.name. So this will actually print in the console where the enemy is looking at. So let's click. He's looking at wall, he's looking at wall, door, wall, plane. He didn't really look at the player. Another thing we can use for the debug purposes is the debug.drawLine. So debug.draw ray, debug. So I'm gonna, since we cannot see the raycast, how it works, we can use the draw ray, and it works with similar parameters. So I'm gonna put the same parameters, the origin and the direction vector, and then I'm gonna choose a color dot say green, and this will actually be drawing a ray in the scene view. So I can debug my raycast. So I'm going to show you what it means. So right now you see it's actually looking at the player. But why is it not looking at the player when I'm here? So it's still looking at the player, but you see it's actually looking at the feet of the player, so it might not really actually see the player. So maybe we might need to adjust our raycast a little bit. I'm going to say player.position. Now instead of player.position, I'm going to say vector3 player up equals new vector3 player dot position dot player position dot x player dot position dot y plus 1.5. So it should look a little bit higher instead of our feet. Player dot position dot z. So I'm gonna replace the player with player up. Let's put this up here, and same, I'm gonna place it here and see if that's the actual problem. You see, that was the problem. Now he's facing player and he's ready to shoot at the player, and the player is ready to shoot at him. Nothing happens at the moment because we haven't write any scripts for that, but that's going to be the case in the next video. See you guys in the next video.